It was a hot, sticky July night in 1994. Yet the sweat drenching my t-shirt was not just from the heat. I was terrified. I knew deep in my bones I was about to get my ass kicked, and there was nothing I could do about it. Even so, I puffed out my chest and clenched my jaw, trying my best to look tough and confident for my 21-year-old hot as the Afghan desert girlfriend. She was 21 and I was 17, so yeah, I was the man. Not that I felt like one though. In fact, the only thought going through my mind was, holy crap, this guy is going to beat the shit out of me. You see, my girl's ex-boyfriend was one of the local tough guys. His jacked up pickup truck was pulled up on the lawn, and he was standing in front of it hurling beer bottles, insults, and threats. His speech was slurred, but he wasn't so drunk that I couldn't clearly make out his vivid promise and nearly piss myself in fear. Come on out here, boy. I'm going to beat your ass and screw your girl. Get out here and face me. Can you imagine how I felt? If you can put yourself in my shoes and feel the fear of knowing you can't even protect yourself, not to mention the people you love, then I beg you to keep watching this video and use my story to prepare yourself so that when violence threatens your loved ones, you come out on top. Now the lights of this guy's pickup truck were shining in my eyes from behind him. It made the dude seem larger than life, like a thug straight out of a late night movie. And that's when my girl confirmed my worst fear. In a terrified voice, she squeaked, "Shit, he's gonna kill you, John. I'm calling the cops. Do not go out there. Promise me." So I cowered there, peeping out through the cheap blinds while we waited for the cops, wishing I could stand up to this guy, but knowing if I stepped out that door, I was done for. Without even touching me, this guy had basically cut off my balls and stripped me of every ounce of manhood. Now let's just say what happened next changed the course of my life, and I'll tell you how that story ends in a minute. However, I can tell you this right now. After that night, I knew I could do only one of three things. 1. I could accept the shame of being helpless and pretend it didn't bother me to cower from a fight and leave my girlfriend helpless. I could bow down to bullies and hope they would leave me in peace. I could live with the fear knowing I was useless in a fight. And I could accept the shame that my loved ones had no protection from violent attackers. 2. I could get mad and bitter. Rage about how my girlfriend's ex was just a dick and a bully. I could whine about how unfair life is and how I never did anything to this guy, so why was he picking on me? Or I could make the choice I did. The choice to discover the truth about what it takes to dominate a fight, and how to never be scared when faced with a bully or a violent attacker again. The choice to stand as the guardian between the people I love and those who would do them harm. The choice to wake up every morning knowing I can face whatever dangers lurk out there on the streets and that I can protect the people I love. I vowed to never again be that scared kid. I never wanted to feel that terror again. The jello legs that would barely hold me up, doing my best to hold in bowels that seemed to have instantly turned to liquid, cold sweat beading on a face burning with shame. From that day forward, learning to fight became my driving force. For years, I spent every free minute in any dojo, boxing gym, or kung fu studio I could find. I became a total badass on the training floor. And guess what? I learned the hard way that it was all just a waste of time. Yes, you heard that right. You see, after years of chasing down every secret fight technique I could get my hands on, I decided it was time to really test my skills. As crazy as it sounds, I forced myself to get into over 600 fights, keeping folks safe in the seediest and most dangerous bar in my hometown, which I'll tell you about in a minute. And then, working alongside some of the most elite military units in the world, I volunteered for every job that I thought would put me in harm's way. And I discovered a sad, sad truth. I had taken the long road to learning how to fight, and most of the stuff that worked in the dojo was a total flop, or downright dangerous against real violence. I spent years learning shit that didn't work, and in the end discovered that there are really only a handful of simple, almost instinctive fight techniques you need to know to defeat any opponent. Which is why I made this video for you. I don't want you to waste all that time, money, and effort like I did. Or worse, I don't want you to fail to learn the skills that will keep you and those around you safe when shit hits the fan. All because you thought it would take you years to learn to defend yourself. The truth is, I can teach you in just days to become a fully effective fighter in real-life violent encounters. I can show you how to keep your family and your friends safe from would-be attackers. In fact, developing these techniques the way I show you will feel like you're actually downloading them directly into your nerves and muscles in an incredibly short time. Now you're probably thinking, so if these techniques are so easy and so great, how come I've never heard about them? Look, let me be totally clear here. These methods are deadly, and they are designed to serve you when your safety and even your life are in danger. I cannot teach you how to win an MMA fight or step into the ring with a boxer. Those things have rules, and you actually do need to spend years and years mastering the subtle art that will bring you victory there. What I'm talking about, though, is violence without rules. I'm talking about the guy who blindsides you while you're walking away from the ATM. The punk who threatens to beat down you and your girl just for fun as you're leaving the movie theater. The asshole who wants to beat the piss out of you because he's having a bad day and you just bumped his car on a fender bender. Or worse, a fender bender in the most dangerous intersection in the world. The holy fuck circle in Kabul, Afghanistan. I'll tell you that story in a minute, so stick around. It's worth it. Look, there are just no rules for shit like that. You must do what you need to do to win and get away. Because believe me, the bad guy doesn't think twice about fighting dirty. I'm going to tell you all about the simple fight system I stumbled on in just a minute. First, let me introduce myself. Hi, my name is John Black. Look, that's not my real name, okay? You see, I'm still active duty, and I get deployed in some of the most dangerous areas of the world. So giving you my real name today would put both me and my brothers in very real danger. So even though I will absolutely share my identity with you one day, for today, I'm John. And I have a very simple question for you. Can you afford to put you and your family's safety and well-being in the hands of someone whose only experience is kicking and punching foam targets? Listen, violence on our streets is at an all-time peak. Even peaceful protests are turning into crazy witch hunts where regular folks become psychopathic attackers. Home invaders, looters, and common criminals are lurking around every corner. The cops can't be everywhere at once to save you. Police forces are dealing with shrinking resources, and victims are reaching record numbers. Which is why I'm taking a risk here and giving you the opportunity to see this fighting system in action, in a complete, uncensored form that very few will have access to. You see, like I said, since I'm still active military, I'm not supposed to be sharing this. However, it's just too important to keep it secret any longer. I need to share this now so you and every other man in this country can experience what true confidence, peace of mind, safety, and security feel like. Because I never want you to feel like that 17-year-old kid, cowering helplessly while his girlfriend takes care of shit. I never want you to put your family at risk because you lack the skills to keep them safe. Now, you won't believe what happened after my ex-girlfriend called the cops. I grew up in a small town, so the police arrived in minutes, but they sent out a lone cop to check out the call. I was relieved to see him roll up in his cruiser. I stepped out onto the lawn to watch the cop give this punk what was coming to him. Then my heart jumped into my throat, and I nearly shit myself when the next thing I knew, the cop was laid out on the hood of his own cruiser. The ex-boyfriend had him by the throat and was slapping him in the face and laughing at him. My face went ice cold. My hands started shaking and I couldn't do anything to stop them. My mind went straight to the inevitable. Me lying in a hospital bed and this asshole having his way with my girl. Finally, the cop wriggled free. Yet instead of using his pepper spray, baton, gun, or some secret police technique to put this guy down, he jumped in his cruiser and locked the doors, which left the thug to stroll up the driveway toward me and my girl. He took his time, just laughing and telling me how he was going to put me in the hospital tonight and screw my girl afterwards. My knees trembled. I could barely hold myself upright. I told my girl to go in the house and lock the door, and I stood there helpless, preparing myself to take a beating, knowing I had nothing. No skills, no experience, nothing to stop this guy from smashing my teeth in. Then, just as he got close enough for me to smell the beer on him, the cop's backup arrived with lights flashing and sirens wailing. I literally collapsed to my knees in relief as the thug stopped dead in his tracks, looked at the police, looked at me and said in a low voice, "I'll see you later, boy." then casually got in his truck, spun up the grass, and drove away. I escaped a beating by the skin of my teeth, and only later in the safety of my bedroom did I think to myself, what the hell is wrong with me? Heck, I grew up on the wrong side of the tracks too. I'm not some soft-ass punk. I could have stood up to that asshole. Yet in my heart, I knew the truth. I was helpless back then. Not now, though. If only I could go back, knowing what I know now, and spend just 5 minutes with that scared 17-year-old kid. I could have sent him out that door to beat the shit out of that bully without breaking a sweat. Believe me, you don't need years of special training to master these almost instinctive fight moves. Once I show them to you, they'll become second nature. And you'll wonder why you thought the idea of getting in a fight used to be so scary. I've taught countless guys around the world to do it. Everyone from guys with absolutely no combat experience to some of the world's most elite special forces operators and law enforcement officers that all thought they knew how to fight. Yet when they see what my system could do, they all agree every time. This is the absolute simplest fight system that can make any man face any situation with the steel-eyed calm confidence of a seasoned fighter. It took me less than 6 hours to help my friend and colleague Todd Lamb master my combat system that I now call Combat Fighter. This guy is ex-military and spent 17 years in SWAT, so he's seen it all. Yet once he discovered the power of Combat Fighter, here's what he told me. I can't believe how many hours of my life I've wasted on combat training. They could have showed me this stuff on my first day of basic, and it's all I would have ever needed. It's so simple a monkey could learn it. Listen, the simple system I perfected took me years to figure out. I sought out and absorbed the fighting secrets taught only by an elite handful of instructors who are called upon to train the highest level of special operations units around the world. These are the techniques used by the SEALs and Delta Force in the USA, British SAS, Canada's JTF-2, Israeli Special Forces, Australia's Tactical Assault Group, and every other Tier 1 Spec Ops unit around the world. And I've spent countless hours testing each technique and forging only the simplest and most effective ones into a single, easy-to-master system. This system has now been battle-tested by both civilians with zero experience and hardened career soldiers. And it just plain works. Take, for example, these words of thanks I received from the Regimental Sergeant Major of the Royal Ontario Regiment after a workshop I gave up in Canada. He says, "I'm always looking for effective training that will give my troops an edge over the numerous threats that members of the Canadian Armed Forces are faced with on a daily basis, be it at home or abroad." John has been deployed in very hostile environments, and he is without a doubt one of the fittest, technically and tactically sound, mission-focused members of his profession. I reached out to get a comprehensive understanding of his combat fighter program and also the various other training packages offered. I brought him in for a single day of training at a local facility to train members of the primary reserve force, who had at the time limited to no training in John's area of expertise. I can honestly say that the response from my troops was overwhelmingly positive. John's instructional technique, approach, drills, trade secrets, and experience he has developed over his number of years of service, coupled with his special forces training, proved to be a no BS, brutally effective hand-to-hand fighting system that I had not been exposed to in my 25 plus years as a non-commissioned member in the combat arms. To this day, I have troops asking me, when is John coming back to kick our ass? For anyone wishing to learn effective hand-to-hand combat in a short period of time, John's Combat Fighter is the only system I would recommend. And although this system took years to perfect, it literally only takes me hours to show it to any man with the will to learn. I promise I can make you a very, very capable fighter using these step-by-step techniques over a single weekend if you apply yourself. For example, you'll quickly master the centerline strike, as instinctive as a knee jerk when the doc tests your reflexes, that will stun or even knock your opponent out instantly so you can quickly retreat. Be careful though, because if you don't do this the way I teach you, it can actually cause death. The unorthodox blitz blast that has a devastating flurry designed to overwhelm your opponent in nanoseconds. The force hijack method that taps into your body's reflexes to deflect and harness your attacker's force against him. The surgical strike methods like underhand ocular control that immediately overwhelm your attacker through massive neurological disruption no matter how disciplined they are. These are especially effective against a stronger opponent because they require very little strength. The one and done principle that makes winning a fight simple and virtually unavoidable by removing all the complex techniques most combat instructors try to teach their students. Instead, I teach you how to instantly recognize your opponent's one most vulnerable target and react with a single instinctive and overwhelming response. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. I barely have time to tell you about the tipping point principle that allows you to instinctively know when it's time to shift from defense to attack. Or the third eye, situational awareness techniques that turns you into a virtual Jedi who can subconsciously sense subtle cues that improve your ability to recognize and capitalize on openings left by your opponents. And much, much more. All the stuff that actually works, because it has been tested in the trenches time after time. Remember how I told you I forced myself to get in over 600 fights in order to forge a fighting method that actually works in real life? Well, before joining the military, I got myself a job as a bouncer in the toughest, seediest bar in my town. A place where I was pretty much guaranteed to put my skills to the test at least once every shift. I forced myself to keep working that job until my pre-fight nerves just disappeared. Once my legs stopped shaking every time I anticipated the start of another fight, I knew I could finally move on. And that was just the first proving ground for the skills that are now the foundation for my fighting system. You see, no matter how many fancy skills I tested out, it always came down to a handful of simple, almost instinctive techniques that guaranteed victory every time. The fancy stuff almost always ended up with me nursing a bloody nose, or worse, the shame of me getting saved by one of my fellow bouncers. So only the most brutal, effective, and simple techniques survive those testing grounds. One of my favorites is the D-strike method. So simple, yet it saved my life in Kabul's holy fuck circle, which I'll tell you about in a minute. First, I have a question for you. Can you feel that? Your heart beating? The dryness in your mouth? That incredible desire to know this, to be able to do this stuff, to have this power, to possess this incredible confidence, to have control over your life in a way you never have before. Let me ask you, how much is it worth to you to never feel afraid of violence again for the rest of your life? How much is it worth to you to have your friends jealous of the amazing fearlessness that comes from the skills you've mastered, begging you to teach them your secrets? How much is it worth to never feel like you have to cower or hide from a bully again? Imagine that for a second. Really let yourself feel what that would be like. And then tell me, what do you think would be a fair price to know with certainty that you can protect yourself and your loved ones and gain absolute control over bullies and criminals who intend you harm? If you're being completely honest with yourself, I bet you'd say $197 or more would be totally fair to feel that kind of confidence. To know you have the power to make someone pay for threatening you without ever spending years in a dojo learning forms and katas. Heck, I bet you'd think that was cheap to never have to feel scared or cowardly again for the rest of your life. I mean, $197 is a lot of money, but considering how this will change your life forever and finally give you complete self-assurance so you can spend your time living your life instead of looking over your shoulder and wondering what you could do if someone threatened your loved ones? Well, when you look at it that way, it seems pretty affordable, doesn't it? Yet, after more than 20 years in the military, doing whatever I can to serve and protect my fellow man, there's one undeniable fact I've learned again and again. That even when you want something so much and know it's a once-in-a-lifetime deal, as a man who spent so much of your time protecting and giving to others, sometimes it feels impossible to be selfish and give yourself what you so desperately need, which is why I'm going to do something kind of risky here. Not a risk to you, but a big risk to me. See, my mission in life is to help guys like you put bullies and criminals in their place, even if it means revealing this system to civilian men around the world at a great risk to myself. I realize now that this is the path I started down on that fateful night so long ago when I made the decision to learn to protect myself and the innocent folks around me. And if I have to risk everything to help you do the same, well, that's a price I'm extremely happy to pay. So here's what I'm going to do. We've already agreed that the combat fighter system is worth at least $197. But because you've watched this video and given me some of your precious time, I'm not going to ask you to invest $197. I'm not even going to ask you to pay $97, even though I know you'll agree that would be a steal. No, for you, and for now, I'm going to do something a little bit crazy. For as long as this video is up, and not a moment longer, I'm going to set your price for the Combat Fighter system at just one single payment of $77. And if you act right now, I'll take money out of my own pocket and give you a whopping 60% off. Which means if you simply click the button below this video right now, you'll get the complete Combat Fighter system for the severely discounted price of just $37. That's the good news. The bad news is, to lock in your discount, you have to act right now. Why? Well, like I said earlier, I'm taking a risk here. There's a good chance that if the brass finds this video, they'll rip it off the web faster than a surgical strike on a Taliban terror cell. However, even though it's risky, I feel like your safety is more important to me. I want you to have these skills, which is why I'm giving you such a crazy low price today. I want as many men as possible to get access to this system while it's still possible. Because there's a good chance if you come back tomorrow, the site will already be suppressed. Oh, and just to remove every excuse your brain can come up with not to do this for yourself, remember, I'm going to back everything I've set up with a frankly incredible 100% money back guarantee. You see, I'm able to absolutely guarantee this system will work for you. These methods have been field tested in the most dangerous places in the world, and they work every time. In fact, I'll give you a lifetime guarantee so you can test everything out to confirm the system works for you. If for whatever reason you're not confident in your abilities after going through the system, just let me know and I'll give you a full refund, no questions asked. After all, I have full confidence that this stuff works for everyone since these methods saved my life more than once. Take that time in Kabul's holy fuck circle, for example. I was running a close protection detail operating in the city and its outskirts daily. We were on the move in our up-armored Toyota Land Cruiser. We were navigating the world's most insane and dangerous traffic circle, affectionately known by operators as Holy Fuck Circle. Its 12 lanes of traffic are jammed into 6 lanes of space, populated with donkeys, carts, motorcycles, and all manner of cars jostling for space with no sense of order or rules. Accidents were inevitable, and that day happened to be our lucky day. We collided with a Toyota Corolla, and let's just say our Land Cruiser won the day. Within seconds, we were surrounded by hundreds of angry Afghans. Following procedure, I got out of the truck without my long gun, alone in hopes of de-escalating the situation. I gave the driver a crash card written in Pashto stating how to be reimbursed for the damages. But tensions and emotions were just running too high. Before I knew it, I felt hands all over me, pulling me away from our truck. I had filthy fingers hooked in my mouth, hands on my face, and people yanking on my chest rig and belt. That's when my training kicked in on instinct. Without a thought, the D-strike method practically flowed out of me and into the angry driver. I felt his nose go to mush and explode behind my fist. His eyes opened in pure shock, and the entire crowd actually gasped and took a step back as they saw the blood pouring from the Afghan's nose and mouth. I seized the opportunity, turned and jumped into the truck, locked the doors, and ordered my driver to drive. In my 2 years operating all over Afghanistan, I'd been engaged in gunfights, lost friends, and was nearly blown up more times than I can count. But I'm certain that single moment, surrounded by an angry crowd, is the closest I came to dying. Without the calmness under stress and the confidence I developed through the Combat Fighter system, I can honestly say I would not have made it. And that's why I made this video for you. I want for you to have these skills and this confidence for yourself. I want more than anything for you to feel the personal peace of knowing your instinctive skills will kick in when you need them the most. That you can be the shield that protects your loved ones from violence. And the Combat Fighter system will give that to you in just days. All you have to do is click the button right below this video right now. Look, if you're not convinced yet, if there's still a little voice in the back of your head that isn't quite sure, let me do one more thing to make this the easiest choice of your life, and to make sure you don't let the fear of regret keep you from taking advantage of this amazing opportunity. See, I want you to feel deep in your heart and deep in your soul that you're getting an incredible deal that you can be proud of. Heck, I want you to feel like you put one over on me by doing what I know you want to do so badly and enrolling in the system today. That's why I've got 3 very special presents for you just for saying maybe to the combat fighter system today. First, I'll give you my Advanced Situational Awareness Manual that will help you easily detect, diffuse, or avoid potential violence. Reading your situation objectively and skillfully can literally be the difference between life and death. Too many guys walk through life like blind sheep, completely trusting that the decency and the rules of society will protect them. Listen, that's just naive, and it's dangerous to you and your loved ones. You don't have to be paranoid or become a conspiracy theorist. In fact, as a Special Forces operator, if I let that happen, I probably would have gone crazy. The simple observation, scanning, and monitoring techniques in the Advanced Situational Awareness Guide have been thoroughly tested and proven in the field to work over and over again, so you can avoid violence before it begins. And every skill in this easy-to-understand book will quickly become second nature so you can keep yourself and your loved ones safe without even thinking about it. Your second present is a critical tool called the Alpha Survival Manual. You can think of this as your big picture plan for keeping yourself and your loved ones safe in an emergency. I cover everything from a simple power outage to an all-out terrorist attack and everything in between. And I give you all the professional tricks and techniques you need to survive and even thrive in the chaos of an emergency situation. The simple guide will make you the man everyone turns to when the shit hits the fan, because you'll have the skills to make sure folks stay safe. Your third present is something special. In fact, I can't do this for everyone. It's called the Alpha Nation Online Coaching Community. During my time in the military, there's one thing above all others that pushed me to be the best I could be. It was the team of guys at my back. It's a proven fact that support, follow-up, and accountability are the number one secret to success in anything, which is why I was inspired to help found a one-of-a-kind community of motivated men called Alpha Nation. And I want you to get into the club for free so you can see the power for yourself. So I've arranged for you to have free access for the next 30 days to help you get a head start on mastering the combat fighter skills. That's not all though. You'll also find hundreds of other videos and articles covering every aspect of being a well-rounded, respected, and highly regarded man and leader. You'll discover everything from how to survive an urban disaster to deadly ground fighting techniques to trimming your beard and everything in between, including priceless information on how every man can easily get and stay in top physical shape. Remember, this is only free for a very limited time because I'm only able to accept a limited number of men into this exclusive coaching community. So act now to secure this free $79 value bonus today. So let's add this all up just so you can see for yourself what a great deal you're actually getting. With your special discount, you'll get the complete combat fighter system for just $37. We already agreed that the combat fighter system is worth at least $197 all by itself, so that's already a pretty great deal. But then, at no additional charge at all, you're also getting the Advanced Situational Awareness Special Report, the Alpha Survival System, and 1 full month of our elite Alpha Nation online coaching. And each of those should probably sell for $97 or more all by themselves too. If you were at the checkout counter, that would all add up to $287. But using your special discount, you'll get everything for just $37. I don't know about you, but if I was at Home Depot, swiped my membership card and saw my bill for $287 worth of stuff plummet to less than $40, I'd feel like I won the lottery, or like there was some kind of mistake. But no matter what, I'd rush to claim my discount before anyone tried to take it away. All you have to do to claim your discount and take advantage of this amazing deal is click the big button right below this video right now. Then fill in your payment details using a credit card, debit card, or PayPal on the next page, and you'll have complete access to the entire program in just 2 short minutes from right now. Just click the button below this video right now. Pay your severely discounted enrollment fee, go through the program, learn the simple combat secrets that will transform your confidence and skill in shockingly little time without the years of discipline it takes to learn a martial art. Experience what it's like to be in control of your life and your surroundings. If you're anything like the thousands of other men who have used this program, you're going to be amazed at the change in your attitude and even the way other men react to you once you learn this. How everyone you meet just looks at you differently, amazed at the power and confidence that you project. If you're like most of our customers, you're going to have a hard time wiping that proud smirk off your face, or keeping your mouth shut when the boys ask you to know your secret that created such a change in you, seemingly overnight. Okay, it's time to take action. You might not know it, at least not consciously, but you're at an important crossroads in your life right now. And you really have just two very different options, leading to two very different lives. One, a lifetime of confidence and pride and power, where you know you can protect yourself and your loved ones from predators and bullies. The other is just a continuation of the life you have now. And it's only going to get worse. I don't want to sound harsh here, but think about this for a second. How would you feel if, God forbid, tomorrow, next week, or even years from now, you find yourself in a situation where folks' lives depend on you, and you realize that if you'd taken up the combat fighter system, you could have been their guardian angel? I surely hope there will never come such a time, but let's face it. Right now, the threat of finding yourself in a situation where you may have to defend yourself and your loved ones from outside threats is greater than it's ever been. These are dangerous times. Terrorist attacks, home invasions, shootings, violence, and brutality are all the reality of our days. At this very moment, the bullies and bad guys are out there practicing violence and getting better at it every time. Why shouldn't you be preparing to beat them at their game? America and every free nation on earth needs its citizens ready to turn the tides, perhaps now more than ever. Because despite their desire to help and protect, the police just don't have the resources to keep you and your family safe. Simple as that. Only men like you and me can really make our country safe again. That power lies in your hands. So listen closely as I tell you what your two options are so you can make the right choice for you. Option 1 is to leave this page without enrolling in the program. I think you already know what will happen if you do this because you've felt it so many times before. That feeling of helplessness, of being powerless against violent intentions, of feeling yourself cower when threatened, when all you want to do is stand up and fight for your rights and the safety of the folks you love. Or feeling guilty because you shy away from standing up for yourself or defending the honor of someone you love because you are scared. I know you don't want that. I know you are sick of feeling helpless, of pretending it doesn't bother you when you have to back down or run away from a fight, of yearning for the confidence in your own skills and ability to defend yourself. Which is why I want you to take a second here and seriously consider taking road number 2. In a lot of ways, it's the easier road because all it takes on your part is deciding you are strong enough to say yes right now. Simply click the button below this video, enter your payment information right now before life gets in the way, and claim your spot in the combat fighter system. Get every single thing I've talked about in this video, and quite a few surprises I haven't even mentioned, but I can't wait for you to see. Unearth the super simple secret of fight training even seasoned Army combatives instructors fail to teach. Learn the secret to making combat as reflexive and as simple as sneezing. And embrace the confidence that comes from knowing you can protect your loved ones and do your part to make this country just a little bit safer. Remember, with your 60-day guarantee, you're risking absolutely nothing. In fact, all the risk is completely on me where it belongs. I firmly believe if I don't get you every result I've promised in this video, I simply don't deserve a dime of your hard-earned money. And with your special discount, you're getting half off the already ridiculously low one-time price of enrollment. Before we go, just imagine for a moment. Imagine yourself rolling out of bed feeling proud, strong, and invincible for the first time in your life. Imagine seeing the look of respect and wariness on the faces of predators when they read your body language and decide you are not easy prey after all. Imagine walking into even the roughest places in your town with confidence and your head held high. And then just click the button below. Let me take the complexity away. Let me show you the truth. Let me help you finally master your instinctive fight skills and take control of your life and your safety. I personally promise you'll be very happy you did, and I can't wait to hear about your success. Thank you for your time. Simply click the button below now.